What's up, Cowboy Nation? Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. My name is Law Nation, LAW Nation. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to give you guys my thoughts on Ezekiel, the main man, Elliott. Everybody, mama, uncle, cousin know that I love Ezekiel Elliott. They know for sure that I'm hard on players, but I still give graces for Ezekiel Elliott. He is the extension of the offensive line, right? This year, he's been reserved to be the actual sixth offensive line. He had to put his body on the line and things like that. Nevertheless, I got to call a spade, right? You got to. You know, when I talk about Ezekiel Elliott, I know that he's such a polarizing character or football player. That's a better way to say it. That a lot of people will say, hey, man, no, he's the end-all, be-all. He's the guy that's still elite because he can do a plethora of things. He can block. He can catch out of the backfield. Also, he can run in between the splits and things like that. And then you got to couple in the fact that he did have COVID this offseason. That could be a detriment to his overall collective health. There are some reports that showing that once you had COVID and you overcome it or what have you, you still feel fatigued, that you're in the fog, or that you are in the mix of things. So there's so many moving parts, and especially as relates to the offensive line being porous as they are, that you really can't gauge Ezekiel, the main man, Elliott, in a sense of, hey, the guy's trash, or hey, the guy dropped off, or hey, the guy just don't got it, right? Right? Can anybody disagree, right? I know somebody going to be like, nah, Law, he ain't it, Law. $90 million worth, he ain't it. When you turn on a TV and you see Derrick Henrys of the world, or when you see any other team, you see the aspect of their star running back is still busting through and getting the necessary yards and things like that, right? We get that back and forth. We see all of those things. And it's hard to really pinpoint what is really going on with Ezekiel Elliott when you have a second-year offensive coordinator named Kellen Moore, who's an extension of Scott Linehan / Jason Garrett, who's trying to learn his way. And it sounds like a bevy of excuses, but that's just how it goes for right now. Now, Ezekiel Elliott, he's on the injury report. When I did the film assessment, I said, hey, it could be possible that he's battling through a nagging injury. My thing is, and I know star football players never would like to admit it, but sometimes it's best to admit it and say, hey, I got this going on right now. I can't give you the full. Don't go out and admit it like your boy Xavier Woods, but admit it to the coaching staff. Admit it to your contemporaries within the confines of the team. And say, hey, I'm not 100% right now. Hey, I'm doing too much. And we saw a little bit of it last year because there was no such thing as COVID last year when he was running and tapping himself on the helmet, and saying, hey, get me out of here, right? On the helmet, I was just talking too fast. So helmet, right? He was tapping himself on the helmet. So there's so many things that we can look at and say, well, Ezekiel, we need a little bit more from you because you are the guy that's getting all of the coins. You are the guy that the franchise is looked upon. You are the guy that even the owners stood up and said, hey, we like you. We're gonna put everything on the ropes or everything against the wall for you. Because a third of this situation as it relates to Roger Goodell, we can really say, hey, it's because Jerry Wayne Jones stood up tall to Roger Goodell for you. Let me know if I'm lying, right? And of course, Ezekiel Elliott had really no dog in the fight because he didn't do any of those things. We know that the lady was lying on him. But yes, he did had his warts. And then for everything to happen the way it happened last year with the Zeke Who, y'all remember that Zeke Who? And his agent getting all butthurt about it and saying, okay, oh, that's how you feel? That's how you feel. It's disrespectful, the whole thing from Rocky Arsenal. I think that was his agent representative at the time. Whole crazy stuff. And then that's when Jerry Wayne said, hey, I have the right to get out there and to criticize or make light of or make fun of Ezekiel Elliott, which 1000% he was right about it, right? Let's be real. Come on, Cowboy Nation. For the collective few. I thought about doing the review of what the Undisputed had to say. I didn't want to really do it because I get so much kickback from you guys. Let me know before I do it, or if you guys would like for me to do it. You know, they talked about Ezekiel Elliott, and I give my thoughts or what have you. But our fan base, man, is sometimes we can be so fickle, right? They be like, oh, we don't care about what they say, Law. We don't care about listening in and you giving rebuttal to what they're saying because it's all fake news or clickbait. That's what they say, right? So I want to test the temperatures before I do a video like that, because I do value a lot of you guys' opinions, believe it or not, even though my thoughts are independent. But I would like to know whether or not you guys would like for me to do a review on them. Feedback, that's what good companies do, right? They ask the employees, or they ask the people in the community, what do you like about this? What do you don't like about that, right? You guys get what I'm saying, right? You guys get what I'm saying. So Ezekiel Elliott shows up on the injury report with a hammy. We know that those hammies, when you got thick thighs, not talking about the man thighs, but when you have thick thighs, that muscle being stretched and being pulled, you can't just really rush that player back out there because you don't want that thing to pull all the way. Sore hammies are okay, but when it pulls, man, it can take weeks upon weeks. And then it can give you that fool's gold, meaning that you will think that everything is okay. You will think that everything is all right. And then when you start running, you fool around and grab that leg and say, kind of similar to a Charlie horse, for those who ran and those who are athletic, those who really know that Charlie horse will break you down. And of course, that hammy will do the same thing. That is a strange muscle when you pull a hammy. And sometimes if you don't let that thing completely heal, it will continue to be a nagging injury. So I don't know. I can think about it and say, maybe it's just one of the pandering situations where they trying to tank it and they really don't want to say, okay, well, Ezekiel Elliott, we're just going to have you a healthy scratch, but it's good to put you on the injury report now. Maybe we run you out there for a few plays and then you pull that hammy again and we pull you to the side and say, okay, we'll let Tony Pollard play and we let the Rico kid play as well, or we elevate somebody else from the practice squad to be the running back. And we would do it that way. We'll throw the seed out there now. We'll throw some stuff out there now, see if it stick. See if we can get a few articles to hit the airwaves and the radio waves and things like that and the press clippings so that when it's time for you to get pulled, it won't be that much of a backlash against you. I've seen teams do that. This is regardless. We know politics is one thing, but political football is another. And there's a lot of political football over here in Dallas Cowboys land. It's flat out a lot of political football. So that's why I love when people come to me and say, man, Law, you spit the truth over here. You be spitting fire. You be telling it like it is. Well, my checks is not determined by Jerry Wayne. My checks are not determined by the 4-ladder or the 3-ladder network, right? So I'm an independent over here. I can say some things. And trust me, when I'm wrong, I'm the one to get out there and say I'm wrong. But when you from the political arena, it's hard to admit when you're wrong, right? It's hard to tell truths about certain situations. It's hard to say, hey, well, even though you paid all of the money for Amari Cooper and he can't play through the echoes of the whistle, he stopped on his route. It's hard to ridicule him, right? It's hard to when I said, even though before Dak Prescott injury, I would like to see him step up through his throw. It's hard to say to chastise certain players, right? When you working for a certain sector of the media or when you work within the confines of the Dallas Cowboys. It's hard. But me, I can say whatever I want. And I wish they have something to say about it, right? Because it's just what it is, There's no political breath within me, right? There's no, okay, I got a lot of kicking about this player. I can just say what I feel. And if I'm wrong, I get out there and say, hey, I was wrong on LVE, right? Remember that? I said the Cowboys shouldn't draft LVE that first year. I was flat out wrong on him. Right on Taco. Wish I was wrong on him as well. But I was wrong on him, right? So I can get out there and spit my mind and speak my thoughts and not have ramifications and repercussions for somebody to say, hey, you might want to settle down a little bit, right? I don't like your attitude type of situation. I don't have those constrictions, right? So Ezekiel Elliott, although you guys can tell that I love the kid, it just may be one of those political situations. It may be a situation where there's nothing wrong with his hamstring, but they got to put it out there so they won't sully their investment, so they won't look bad against the $90 million, so they won't look bad against like they're doing with Jaylon Smith. Shout out to him. And I got to say this before I rock on out of here. The Jaylon Smith angle. So many people, when I post videos on different platforms, they love to get the reaction. They love to get the attention to the player, right? And I like it. I flat out like it. It's not me hating. I just call it a spade a spade. So when I say things about Jaylon Smith, it's not that me hating Jaylon Smith. It's just me calling what a spade is spade. It's kind of like me saying that, hey, I got facial hair. You guys can see it. But if I lie to y'all and say, man, I don't have no facial hair on right now, you guys be looking at it like, nah, Law, you got facial hair. That's what I'm saying. So when y'all tag the players, that's cool. I'm not going to be like, hey, man, why you tagging players, man, on my post or what have you. Let them know, because I'm not going to be the person that be, when I see them in face, be like, hey, man, I didn't have to say that about you. No, I'm going to say, hey, this is what it is. If you come to me with that work action, if you come to me with all of that, you know, I'm just a person that's talking. You need to be going to the person that's on the field. And if I can motivate you to do a lap or an extra push-up to prove me wrong, then I won. Because ultimately, I want those guys to play well. I want them to play better. That's the reality of it. And I want them to prove me wrong. Who am I? You know? But I love it when they retweet, or I love it when they read the comment. I love it when they see the video. When you tag them in it, you know, it's not me being mad at it. It's just me saying, okay, cool. But I know one thing, they ain't gonna come in here and be like, hey, man, you wrong. Because the tape don't lie. So when they like it or when they see it and they say, okay, then they know it. This is nothing more than what a coach is going to say to them into their faces. That's the reality of it. Shout out to Jaylon Smith. I don't hate the brother for those who think I do. But what I'm saying is that maybe, just maybe, Jaylon could be used as a downhill guy on the edge. Be the guy that he still got speed, right? He still got the physical power, right? He still got length. That didn't change. But what we're talking about, collectively speaking, is coverage. He can be the number one tackle in the NFL. Yes, that's cool. What you want, a cookie? Where you got the tackle? How many tackles for loss, right? How many pass back downs are you doing? How many INTs, right? Oh, man. That kills me when, or it irks me, basically, when people say, well, he's the number one tackler in the NFL. Okay, cool. What you want, a cookie? What you want, you know? And on top of that, when they refuse to look at the tape and say, okay, this is where the tackle occurred. Or instead of a tackle, it could have been a pass breakdown or bat down. It could have been an INT if he was right there in spacing. Or instead of a touchdown from L. Thomas, shout out to the Thomases over there with the Washington team. But if he was quicker on his break, it could have been an INT. Or there could have been an actual bat down. Save 6 points. There's so many things. Football is a crazy animal, right? I digress. I really appreciate you all for tuning in to this channel. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content, let friends, neighbors, foes know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. It's still DC for life, regardless. A third of us was fans before Jerry bought the team, right? So where are we supposed to go? We're supposed to look at it like, he bought the team, so we supposed to run? No, we support this team from the womb to the tomb, right? From the beginning to the end, the highs and lows. In life, there's a lot of highs and there's a lot of lows, valleys. But here's the craziest thing of it all. You learn more about the individuals and the people when they're at their lowest, when you're at the bottom. But even when you're at the bottom, you can still look up and climb up and continue to find ways and reasonings on how I can improve myself to get out of this mess I'm in. Regardless of who put you there or where you at or where side of the coin you was born on, you still got an opportunity. It's still 24 hours a day. That's one thing that we all share with Bill Gates, Jerry Wayne, and beyond. We all got the same amount of time. Now, we just don't know when the Lord come call it, but we still have, collectively speaking, we all have the same amount of time. And we can't be looking at other people, and this is just me side talking right now. We can't be looking at other people's lives and sitting there saying, oh, man, they must be having the best lives of their time. I guarantee you, Michael Jackson wish he had 5 more minutes on this planet, collectively speaking. I'm just talking about celebrities right now. Man. We don't know how much time we have on this planet. That's why I always say at the end of my videos, that's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. You know, because tomorrow might be my last day. 30 minutes from now might be my last seconds or minutes of seconds on this planet, right? But I thank you all for your time, right? And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go.